Hey everybody, it's Jay, and this is my Walther Q5 match. What's that, you say? No, that is not a Q5 match. Well, obviously, you aren't paying very close attention, or you read the thread title already and you know where this is going. I recently picked up a Q5 match conversion kit from CD&N for about $3.99. Now, I don't know if they still have them by the time you see this video. In the post-apocalypse, probably not. But it looks like Walther has actually discontinued the Q5 match conversion kit, which is a little bit unfortunate. But I was lucky enough to happen to see that CD&N had them in a flyer, and I've wanted a Q5 match for a while because I love the PPQ. The PPQ, as you may know, is my favorite handgun far and away. This is the gun that I will take with me to my grave to be dug up by robot resistance fighters in the distant or possibly near future. I love the PPQ. Part of the thing that I really love about it is the fact that it fits my hand perfectly. There are very few guns out there that just absolutely fit me like a glove. I have no complaints about. I couldn't make any changes to it if I wanted to that would improve it. The PPQ is one of those rare guns. That's one thing. The other thing, too, is I actually really think the trigger is very good. Has this take up here, and then a very crisp break with almost no reset. They advertise a 1/10 of an inch reset, which means it's very fast back on target. Or at the very least, it's very fast to pull again. And that is also hard to beat in a lot of ways. One thing that I am kind of glad about is I was able to get this conversion kit because the so-called M1, which is the first version that they imported back in the day, has this European paddle mag release, which I also really like. It's very natural for me. Doesn't take much training at all to figure it out. And it's fun to use. So there's that too. Mostly what you see nowadays are the so-called M2, which has a Browning style release. But of course, one of the issues that I've discovered is that you pretty much have to get P99 mags or M1 dedicated mags because the Browning style ones will not work with the M1. So, something to keep in mind. Now, a few features about the Q5 match, or at least the Q5 match conversion kit on this PPQ frame. We have a ported slide to help with weight. Probably also heat disbursement a little bit as well. It is got aggressive serrations on the front and back, so you can grab it wherever you need to grab it. We've got target sights, black in the back, red in the front. And one nice little addition is it is optics ready. You can remove these two screws. This plate and the rear side just slides off. Then you can slide a mounting plate directly on. Now, the conversion kit does not come with mounting plates, so you have to try to get them from Walther. I submitted a request a couple days ago to Walther to get a mounting plate to fit a Burris Fastfire 3 that I have set aside for it. They have not responded yet. There was also a note saying that they only send mounting plates for certain product series now, so they may not even send me one for this anyway, and if they don't, that would be extremely unfortunate. They do offer, though, for sale a mounting plate. It's about $150, and it fits RMR footprint, so that may be a direction I end up going. But because this was $3.99, it is going to feel a little unfortunate to have to drop like $550 or $450 to get the mounting plate and an RMR footprint optic to put on there. But I am going to put an optic on this. My Shadow 2 is not optics ready, so I thought it would be nice to have one, basically a match style gun set up with an optic, and just see how that goes. As far as shooting performance goes, I found this to perform quite well. You can check out the 25-yard target that I put out, and I was shooting off of a rest. It's not too bad. One of them is way up there. Where are you going up there, little guy? Where are you trying to run to? I don't know what happened there. Obviously a flyer. That definitely wasn't the gun's fault. but the gun seems to be more accurate than me. One thing that I will say is this polymer frame, and with the ported slide and everything, is pretty lightweight. That may be appealing to some people. I know some competition shooters prefer a heavier gun to help mitigate muzzle climb, to be able to get their sights back on faster. This doesn't have any considerations for that. So the gun is quite lightweight, and as a duty gun, that's great. As a competition gun, it makes things a little bit more challenging as far as getting your sights back on target quickly. The conversion kit came basically with everything you see here. We have this guide rod with a recoil spring, the barrel, and the slide with the rear sight. It also came with a backup set of screws. I assume that these longer screws depend on the type of optic that you put on it. Like if you put on an aim point footprint or something along those lines, is probably why that is. It also came with a carry case that had the serial of the conversion kit on it, and it also had a nice little test fire target from the German factory. These are still German made, so I'm sure the quality is still quite good. From a reliability standpoint, I had no issues with this gun at all. But for the most part, yeah, it's just a PPQ. The trigger could be a little lighter on the break as far as a competition type gun, but I think it's so crisp, it really makes up for that in some ways. I'm sure that there are PPQ trigger jobs and such out there by this point in time. But overall, yeah, I'm really happy to have this because, again, for all the reasons I mentioned, having the M1 style paddle release, already having a gun that I know works well and that I enjoy shooting, and now I basically can just swap it into a Q5 match very easily by just removing the slide and barrel and assembly and all that, and sliding my other one right back on. Probably would help if I took the mag out, huh? It's a neat setup, and again, it's maybe a little bit unfortunate that they aren't making them still, or that they're out of production, or they aren't selling them. But at the same time, I mean, if they're not selling them more, people probably weren't buying them anyway. So, hey everybody, it's Jay, and this is really the Jay from the future, but not your future, your past, the previous Jay's future, because I recorded that video, the video you just watched, a few weeks back, and I've made a few changes to this Q5 match that I wanted to talk about, but I don't have enough trigger time on this yet to really give a full review. But I ended up getting from Walther for 50 bucks, which was a lot better than 150 for the only one they had listed on their site, this RMR footprint optic mount, and then I added an X3 Tactics PRD dot made by Herein that so far has worked pretty well, with one little exception, which was that the windage and elevation screws have been really tight and really hard to adjust. But I only have like 15 rounds through this so far, so I don't really want to give a full review of that yet. I've also added I picked up a couple 20 round P99 mags to give me a few extra rounds above the 15 that I had originally. This is really hard to do one-handed when you're looking through a camera lens. So yeah, I just wanted to do a quick update on that because that's what this gun looks like now. Slide locked open there. These mags have functioned fine so far with this PPQ. Again, I've only put 15 rounds through it, so we'll see how that goes. I'll probably do a follow-up on this optic later, and I'll continue to talk about how this went. I did go ahead with the test fire and check 0. I only shot out to 10 yards, and you can see in the picture my groups were pretty tight. It's pretty easy to stack rounds on top of each other with the addition of this dot, so I suspect that'll also tighten up quite a bit out at 25. But anyway, yeah, that's sort of the setup we've got going on here now. Again, trying to look through a camera lens, and you can see what that looks like. So there you go. And I'm going to kick back over to myself from the past, my past and your past, to close the video out. Yeah, if you have a PPQ and happen to be able to run across one for a good price, seems like it'd be worth investing in if you're interested in getting a Q5 match versus buying a whole new gun separately. But yeah, I'm pretty pleased with it, personally. So there you go. This is Jay. Hope you liked the video. Please click like if you did. Be sure to check out our backlog and subscribe to us if you haven't already. And be sure to check out the link to our Patreon page if you want to help support us. And we'll see you again soon next time.